Hey there, welcome to ATL and 29, a podcast that looks at the NBA from the starting point of Atlanta. My name is Kevin Chenard. I am here a night before the NBA Finals begin with Tyler Jones, and we're here to talk about the finals and the draft. But before we start, Tyler, what do you make of the Atlanta Dream season so far?
Um, so it's interesting, right? Like they've had some issues with turnovers in particular. And a lot of it is it that's like their big bugaboo, but they're just so talented that they can pretty much roll through the majority of the teams in the W. Um, However, they have to clean up the turnovers. That should get a little bit better when when not Brittany Griner. I'm sorry. Bri Bree Jones is back. So like Bree's probably their best. Like she was their best player last year. With how well Ryan Howard is playing this year, that might not be the case anymore. But no, they're overall like there's not that much to complain about other than I do wish Smesco trusted Borlase a little bit more. I think she provides good two-way play that we're not getting from Pow Pow when she comes into the game. Like Pow Pow's defense has just been worse in large part because they don't have a real center. Like they're playing two power forwards for the majority of the time. So it's like they cannot afford any mistakes from their guards. And that's why also probably why he's hesitant to extend Borlase any more than he would like. He probably would like to play her more, but it's just like I have no center. I need my guards and forwards to be locked into their rotations 100% of the time because right now they're winning with their defense more than offense, primarily because of the turnovers. But overall, this is a team that I think has a good a chance than any to win the championship, just because I mean they're just so much more talented than practically the vast majority of the teams in the W, and the pieces fit so well together. And like Angel Reese's ability to grab offensive rebounds combined with her passing, it just unlocks, and her defense just unlocks a lot for this team. Um, and so hopefully, Bree's going to come back pretty soon. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, they can really start showing their cases being the best team in the W.
All right, let's talk about the finals a little bit here. And I guess I really want to start with this. Like San Antonio, they're basically playing like four guards next to Wemby, right? Is that's kind of what they do?
Yeah,
How are they going to line up against Cat? Are they going to have to put Wemby on Cat? If
I
Cat is starting 25 feet from the basket, does that just take all the suck all the rim protection out? Like, how's this going to work?
yeah. So like that's like that's going to decide the series. And I think combined with they're not going to be able to play as physically against the Knicks as they did against the Thunder, primarily because the Knicks are the bigger basketball team. And when you're bigger, you can't get away with the level of physicality that they got away with against OKC, who, for all their greatness, is a small team. Like, and especially without J Dub, uh, they're just a really small team that relies on a lot of guards and a lot of ball pressure, and so that matchup fitted pretty well against the Knicks. Like I don't, it's teams have been comfortable putting a wing on the Cat, but Cat has just destroyed that in large part because of his passing. Like his passing has just opened up um,
Yeah.
the entire floor of the game, combined with OG. Like that's the other problem. Like it's not just Cat, it's also OG as well. You cannot put a small basketball player in OG. He's just too strong. He's too skilled with the ball in his hands. He's just going to go to the front of the rim and finish the contact. And so, like that, how do the Spurs, defend? the Knicks is going to be the $1 million question because I don't think they're going to be able to get away with not having Cat on Wemby. And if that's the case, Wemby can't just, play zone in the paint 100% of the time. And if he can't do that, then the Spurs defense isn't as prolific as, the numbers have illustrated. Because now, Stephon Castle can't guard up. He can't be as physical against Jalen Brunson. And it kind of flows downhill from there. And like, it's an interesting bad matchup for the Spurs in particular. Like I don't think combined with like they really only have one playoff big, which is Wemby. Um, while the Knicks have two, combined with they're comfortable playing OG at center as well. So it's just like they really have three compared to the Spurs, where like who comes off their bench who's a quote unquote big. Keldon Johnson, he's like 6'4", 6'5". He's not really that big. He's physical. Maybe
Yeah,
they have to start him. They might have to consider starting Keldon
they might.
if it gets too bad. Like I don't Penny, for as good as he was, like he's not a good defender, and I don't think he's going to be able to get away. The Knicks are going to be, I mean, the Spurs are going to be able to get away with him on the floor with Brunson in the game. Like Brunson's just going to hunt him to like and combined with like Brunson, unlike SGA, does not care about being labeled a flopper. Like 100%. Also, he plays for the Knicks. He'll never be called a flopper, even though he's almost certainly far worse, far egregious than what SGA does on a
But he does
basketball
it on
court.
defense too. Like
Yeah, Brunson's
SGA is
going to
not doing it on defense. Brunson will absolutely flop off
Brunson and
on defense.
Brunson and Josh Hart are going to put on a performance in this series. And like I don't seeing what I saw against OKC, I don't know if the Spurs have the mental makeup to withstand that level of chicanery. Like I think it's the Knicks are a veteran team. They know what they want to do. They know what they don't want to do now, which is almost just as important. Like they've really they've been playing flat out. Talk about competition all you want. No team has played better basketball than the Knicks in this playoffs. Carl Towns and OG. You can say Wemby's probably been the most impactful player, but Cat and OG have been number 2 and 3, and like Cat might be right there with Wemby, honestly. He's been that good on both ends of the floor, particularly defensively. It'll be interesting to see who Cat guards on the other end, but it might not matter all that much. So just because of the size difference, like it generally might not matter. And considering how well Cat has been defending, particularly at the rim, like it's going to be interesting to see how the Spurs maybe try to attack him, get into foul trouble if he's not guarding Wemby. It's OG on Wemby, but I think the Knicks are a little too smart to allow the Knicks are going to dictate how the Spurs are going to defend and how they're going to play offense, just because they have bigger body, more physical team, and like Brunson's going to be a tough cover. Like he's going to be somebody they got to be locked in for 100% of the time. That's going to give easy opportunities for OG and for Mikal Bridges. So it's a tough matchup for the Spurs. I thought if OKC made it, I felt like OKC had a better chance against the Knicks primarily because they don't have anybody who can guard SGA. And SGA is a much better pull-up shooter than what the Spurs have available. Like you got to be able to knock down. We saw with the Hawks, the Hawks' inability to make pull-up three-pointers combined with their lack of passing skill really crippled their offense. And so, like the Spurs, for as good as Stephon Castle's been, De'Aaron Fox has been okay, even though he's managing energy. Dylan Harper has been good for a rookie. Pull up 3-point shooting and pull up shooting in general is not a strength of theirs. They want to get to the front of the rim. It's going to be hard against this Knicks team, considering how much bigger they are and how well they play with their size and length.
Is there any way that they can stash Wemby on like Josh Hart and kind of have him deal with
That's
the
what they're going to do.
corner shooter, but also kind of zone up?
They're going to, I think that's going to be what they're going to do. And it's going to be interesting to see that. That's like the opening salvo. So it's going to be interesting to see what the Knicks do to counter this. Um, and I think a lot of it is just going to be what they did against the Hawks, which is put Carl Towns at the high post. And it's like, all right, Wimby, I'm up here against a smaller player, and you're going to have to come. You're going to have to come help, or I'm going to cook them, from the high post. And you help, I'm going to make these reads. And considering the fact that they're not going to put a bigger guy on him, he can just sit there with the ball in his hands, unpressured and unbothered. And that's like a big issue. I think it's going to be a big issue for the Spurs. Like they need to generate turnovers, but with how, like, if they're not going to put Wimby on Cat, that's just not going to happen. If the Knicks are going to do what they've done since game three, or I mean game four, which is play through Carl Towns. So I think that's where like, yes, he's going to guard Hart, but he's got to double be the double guy for Cat, and Cat's comfortable throwing these passes now. And so it's like, okay, you double. Josh Hart's open for a split second. Josh Hart can make these reads in the short roll and all that good stuff. Like, he's a good passer, good finisher at the rim, as well. So it's going to be interesting. That's going to be the opening salvo, but I don't know if they're going to be able to stick with that. Like, I do think they're going to have to guard. Wimby's going to have to guard Cat. Like, he's just going to have to do that. And the second that happens, everything else opens up for the Knicks. So that's where it's like, I think Spurs. I think at the same time, with how dominant Wimby's been on both ends, maybe he can figure some stuff out here. It's just like, to me, I look at it, I'm like, the Knicks have the Knicks, all their guys are playing so well right now. And for the Spurs, like, they rely so heavily on Wemby's greatness for all the other players. Like, you look at everything, like it's Wemby really elevating the rest of his teammates. However, this Knicks team, with how skilled they are, particularly Karl Anthony Towns, I think that advantage might go away more than it has throughout these playoffs. Considering the other guys on the floor, like, I mean, we could talk about these matchups, but like, what are they going to do with OG, man? Like, I watched OG just destroy Jalen Johnson. They don't have anybody as big as Jalen Johnson. Okay, the Spurs don't have anybody as big as Jalen Johnson. And I watched OG absolutely pummel Jalen Johnson, both as a shooter, and as a driver. And so I'm like, what are they going to do to deal with that? Because, like, OG just turned into Kawhi Leonard off the catch now. Like, it's just like, there's nothing you can do if it's a smaller guy. And it has to be a smaller guy, because, who else is who they're gonna put Wimby on OG? Like, I think that's where it's like, the issue is, like, regardless of how good these guys are individually, they are guards. And the Knicks play the most forwards in the league. It is their biggest advantage. It is clearly a massive advantage over every other team in the NBA. We saw it against the Cavaliers. We saw it against the Hawks. We saw it against the Sixers. They throw wave after wave after good. They have three good forwards who know what they want to do on both ends of the floor, know how they want to play. And, like, if you can't match them physically, they're just going to keep running the same stuff over and over again, and just, like, really debilitate you, like, completely, like, take you out of your how you want to play. So it's going to be. I think Mitch Johnson's going to have to play bigger than what he usually wants to do, just to keep the guys in the game. Because Wemby's good and, like, can be dominant enough where he can win games by himself. So, but in order for him to do that, I do think he's going to have to play bigger. Like, I think, full stop, Keldon Johnson's just going to have to either start or play way more than what Mitch has been comfortable with during the season.
How do the Knicks guard Wemby? And if Mitchell Robinson isn't really able to function the way that he usually does because of his hand injury, does the MO become get Cat in foul trouble?
I think the get cat and foul trouble is probably going to be the primary MO. Um, that's the easiest way because really test if Mitch Johnson's okay to play, really test. And also, like, when it's Mitchell Robinson, like, it's easier for the Knicks to be defended, even though
True.
he has great skills as offensive rebounder. And the offensive rebounding probably shouldn't go away even with the broken pinky.
Hmm.
Uh, but like it'll
But
be
like
interesting.
being a lob threat becomes a lot more difficult.
Yeah, we'll I mean, we'll see, right? I mean, if again, if the Spurs are throwing out these guard lineups, it's not gonna matter. You just
Yeah.
do it with left hand. Uh, and like you talk about how the how the Knicks going to guard Wemby. Like I think that's that's the benefit of having a guy like OG who's big and physical and has long arms and is not going to allow Wemby to just dribble. You know, that's the Thunder Caruso was too small, and Isaiah Hartenstein and Chet Holmgren couldn't keep Wemby from dribbling. That's not an issue for the Knicks. They can throw OG on him. If he dribbles, it's going to be a turnover. You know, he might be able to get some moves off, but like overall, if he dribbles, it's going to be a turnover. So that it instantly kills a lot of actions that the Spurs have been able to run against the Thunder. So like it's going to limit how they can, score really. I think we like, all right, we want to attack Cat, and it's like, okay, who's gonna, you know, Champagny or Devin Vassell attacking Cat downhill? They don't really have advanced handles to really take advantage of him. And if all he has to do is close out to them as shooters, Cat can do that, So it's
Mhm.
just,
Yeah.
it's going to be interesting. You know, they're going to try to attack Brunson, but all that aside, like that's not getting Wemby the ball, right? Like that's not involving Wemby in the action. Where it's like, all right, we play 2-man game with Wemby's man and Brunson, screening Brunson. They're not going to switch that action. They're just going to live with the results. So it's going to be like if Stephon Castle, his mid ranger I think has been a little bit better in these playoffs. That could be a weapon for them in this series. De'Aaron Fox comfortable in the mid range, that can also be a weapon, but that's not what they want to do. They want to get Wemby open dunks. They want to get Wemby open threes. It's going to be a lot harder against a Knicks team that just has a lot of forwards, man, and like I can totally see Mike Brown throwing like um guys who haven't played really in these playoffs just to add Wemby just to give them a different look too, just because they have that optionality. But like the OG, to me, I'm like the OG is like the big issue, the bigger issue. Like OG Anunoby is they don't have this Knicks team. I mean, the Spurs don't have forwards, and so like, how do they contend with him more than any other player on the team? I think that's really going to be the difference in this series. That's why I earlier I was like I think the Knicks got a good shot of winning the title, but like seeing how this playoffs is played out, like I feel more strongly than of that than ever. I think it'll be a good series just because Wemby's that good. Like Wemby's just been unbelievable in these playoffs. Like he's going to figure some stuff out. But to me, I just think the Knicks have more options compared to the Spurs, where the Spurs are kind of limited in what they can do, and that's kind of where the difference is going to lie in this series.
Well, to segue here to the draft, forwards are valuable, and
Yeah,
they're not
good.
really. I don't think there are a whole lot of forwards who might naturally go at 8. But if you look at sort of the rest of the first round, like where is their value in any of these forwards?
Well, it's interesting. Like we'll see where Allen Graves ends up because I would have said Allen Graves at 23, lock it in. Uh, but like he's getting a little steam recently, and like I mean, analytically, he's one of the best players in this draft class. He's a 6'8" forward. I think he has a 7 foot wingspan. Great shooter for his position. Good passer. Steals, blocks galore. Not that athletic though. At the same time, an interesting comp I heard from him is like he's like if Cam Boozer is the if you don't know what Pokemon is, it's fine. But like Cam Boozer's like Charizard. Uh, Alan Graves is Charmeleon. Like he's one level below what Cam Boozer is because that's how kind of how he plays. He
Okay.
was a red shirt red shirt freshman, uh, and he kind of came off the bench for a mid major. That's why he's as low as he is, considering his metrics. But like I can totally see him going lottery, just because I think teams are a lot like we saw with Cedric Howard last year. And we saw with Jalen Williams a couple years ago. Teams are a lot smarter about these like analytical darlings. Like if they see like, oh, he's overwhelmingly positive in so many areas, he's going to be a good pro. We're just going to take him in the lottery. Like we're not going to waste time. So I think his range is probably he's probably too he's probably it's probably too much to take him 8 just because I do think there are better players there at 8, but like at 12, I think is when his range starts. If the Hawks were to trade back, he'd be somebody I would potentially be targeting there. So like that's one guy. Another forward who I don't like though is Nate Mint. Um, he's getting top 10
Yep.
buzzes. He's getting top 10 buzz now.
Mm.
Um, I, it's primarily because of his physical tools. He's like 6'10", 6'11", legitimate 6'10" without shoes. And he's skinny and like he does do things with the ball in his hands. Like he's very good at drawing fouls. He was a good, I think he was a pretty solid rebounder as well, like over like defensive rebounds in particular. Uh
But he's not really going to go to the rim, though, right?
Yeah, he doesn't really have a great handle. His shot's okay. It's not great, but it's not bad, especially for his age.
Yeah.
There is a good like he's very like oh, it's funny. He has more on ball juice than Zachary Richie does, but he's not nearly the athlete that Zachary Richie is. But
Yeah.
he's better. But at the same time, he is better at using his physical advantages to his benefit than what Zach is right now. If you could combine the two players, their traits, you get a really good NBA player, but you can't, unfortunately. But like Nate, he wasn't really that good at Tennessee. That's kind of the biggest thing. He is good at getting to the free throw line. So like that's all I was saying. He's very good at using his handle to draw fouls, but I don't know if that'll continue on the NBA floor considering how weak he is. Um, but he plays way stronger than Zach though at the same time. So he's an interesting guy. Like I could see why a team would fall in love with him. Um, I just for the Hawks at 8, he's too rich for me at 8. If he was there at 23, absolutely.
Sure.
You take a flyer like whatever, Though I think I still like some guys more than him even at 23. Just not the type of player that's probably going to be conducive to winning in the near future. Not to say he can't be good 3 or 4 years from now, but it's just like there's so like just in general, he was not good at Tennessee. And for all of Zach's flaws, like Zach was a good player for his team in France. Nate Mint was not good at Tennessee. Now it was a bad, like people say it's a bad fit for him, but like he got to play with the ball in his hands. Like he had a 29% usage for somebody who was not good. You know, like he got to do whatever he wanted. He just sucked at it. So very similar to Ace Bailey. And like Ace Bailey showed some stuff, I guess, as a rookie, but like overall, he wasn't good either. Like if you want to compare him as a prospect, like Ace Bailey's a good like an analogy there, where it's like, yeah, there's some physical tools here. Maybe we can figure some stuff out on the NBA floor, but he's got a long way to go. More of a project. Like I would stay if I'm the Hawks, I'd stay away from that. Um, type of forward overall. A guy, then there's Kareem Lopez, interesting big forward uh, from Mexico. He's okay, but 8 is too high for him, and he's not going to be there at 23 just because he was productive where he played, and like there's some nice physicality that he plays with his with on both ends of the floor, but eight's just too high, so he's not going to be there. Um, I talked about Haynes Steinbach on the last pod. He'd be an absolute steal at 23. 8 might be a little too high for him, but he's going to be. The thing is, I know he's going to be a good NBA player. He's not a center. I do think that probably needs to be stated. He's legitimately a power forward. I think his rim
Yeah.
protection is not very good, but he has great ball skills. For as big as he is, like I think he's going to be a good player in this league. But if he's playing center, he's just not going to be good defensively. Um, So that's kind of him. Talked about, did I? I'm not sure. Have we talked about Yaxel on this podcast?
Very briefly. I think we
Yeah,
did, but I don't think we went like in any real depth there.
I would not hate the Hawks taking Yaxel at 8. He has been one of the best players in college basketball for the last 3 years. Like he just has. So I understanding that he is an older player. But at UAB, he primarily played power forward center. He then goes to Michigan, pretty much plays all his minutes at the three with the ball in his hands, and it's like unbelievable. Still an elite player. He's even better playing for a Michigan team that really didn't have a good point guard. Like he
Yeah.
kind of he's like in the LeBron. Like if I'm going to describe the role that he had at Michigan, he was in the LeBron. Like he's basically they asked him to be LeBron James for them, and he was LeBron James at the college level. Yes, he's old, but he's going to be good. I feel very confident in saying that he's going to be good. A lot of the things that he excelled at Michigan is going to translate to the NBA due to his size. Like he's 6'9", 7, like what 3, 7'4" wingspan.
Seven
Unbelievable.
four.
Like great. Like he has the physical. He has the physicals of a center. Like 9'1" standing reach or something like that. Like insane. Uh, and what he did was he showed to be a good passer, good shooter from three on good attempts. Like he took 4.5 threes a game at Michigan, which is way up from what he did at UAB. Uh, like he just doesn't have any holes in the game. And he was an elite perimeter defender. Uh, like and again, he didn't do that at UAB. Like UAB, he was a power forward center. And so like
I
that's
mean,
why
was he able to do that because he had a rim protector behind him? Was he? Do you think he gets to be more aggressive?
maybe, but I mean he didn't, you know, Adai Morrow didn't play that many minutes, overall. Like Adai Morrow was locked at 22, 23 minutes a game.
Right.
Yax was playing the full game. Like
Yeah.
I watched him. Like like Wagler when they play Illinois, it's just one game, for example. Like Yax guarded Wagler, and like Wagler had a really hard time creating separation against him. Like he just did, and like he leaned on Wagler for the majority of the game, used his size, length, and his athleticism and mobility to contain him. Now Wagler kind of figured some stuff out late, but by that point the game was over. So like I just think he's going to be good. Jalen Johnson's a weirdly good comp for him for what he might be at the next level. He's not the explosive athlete that Jalen is, but like really very similar where he's kind of good at everything. But he's way more dialed in defensively than what we saw
Mhm.
Jalen last year. Now, to defend Jalen, I have seen Jalen play good defense for a couple seasons, or better defense than what he showed this past year. So I think Yaxel would be a good addition for the Hawks. But if the Hawks were to draft Yaxel, like, and this is something that Brad and David brought up on their pod, if they were to draft Yaxel, Kaminga is 100% not going to be on the team next year. Like, that would make no sense to carry both of those guys, especially considering Yaxel's age. Like, Yaxel has to play right away. If you're drafting Axel Lindenberg for the Hawks, he has to play right away because that's where his value is. Like
That's right.
as an older player, you know, they can't mess around with him. So like, but he would help. Like he would help a lot of teams. Like I'm pretty sure the Thunder would love to have the Axel Lindenberg on their team going forward for the next couple of years on trying to win a championship. Another forward from Michigan is also Morez Johnson.
Hmm.
Again, eight's probably too high. Need to be a trade back.
Right.
But he's a great athlete, has the measurables stuff center as well. Super physical. Isaiah Stewart's a great comp for him. He's a better athlete than Isaiah Stewart is, but he's not the rim protector that Isaiah Stewart was. Like Isaiah Stewart is an unbelievable rim protector and was an unbelievable rim protector coming out of college. That's not Morris Johnson's strength. Kind of see it. Kind of see it in a lot of both the film and the on-off splits between Mara. When Mara's out the floor, Morez is almost certainly on the floor playing center, and like teams are just more comfortable attacking him. Not to say he's a bad defender; he's a good defender, but just not just not the level of rim protector that somebody like Isaiah Stewart, who you wouldn't think is an elite rim protector, considering he's not that tall, but Stewart's he has unreal positioning and he's like the strongest guy in the league. So Morris now maybe Morris can get there with time. Like he's young. He's
He's still
unlike
young. Yeah.
Lindenberg and Mara. Like I think he's only 19. He might turn 20
I think he's
pretty soon.
20 now.
Yeah. You're right. He is 20 now, or he's going to be 20 next year. And like, uh, but like he's 6'10", 250, moves his feet as good as anybody that like that size. Very good athlete. I think he's going to be able to shoot it at the next level as well. Good, good functional ball skills. Not the he doesn't have the ball skills of a Heinz Steinbach, but
Yeah.
it's
What's his offensive role going to look like at the NBA? Like, is he ready to do it now, or is it going to be like he's just going to have to go through a season and then maybe in year two he'll be functional enough on offense? Like,
I,
does he have a clear NBA role on offense?
I don't think so. A lot because a lot of what he did at Michigan was cleanup,
Hmm.
offensively off of like he because Morrow is such a great passer, like he's able to just duck in and finish against small. And a lot of it was like Michigan was just so much bigger than everybody they played, and
Right.
he really benefited from that fact. Where it's like, well, Morrow's pulling our center off the floor, up the floor because of his passing, and now he's ducking in and getting easy shot at him. So he's gonna have to work on his offensive game at the next level. But I think he'll be able to get it get something going in time. But we're talking like how many forwards we talk about? And like we're almost done with the pod, but like it's a lot of good forwards in this draft. Weirdly, I'm not that. It's strange. Like there are a lot of good forwards here, and I think they're going to be good at the next level. But for the Hawks in particular, and I talked about this on Blue Sky on Twitter, I'm like at 8, I'm locked in on 3 guys: Mara, Kingston, Wagler. And if one of those 3 guys is there, you take them, and you don't worry about it. And then at 23, you just take BPA. I mean, because to me, at 8, those are the 3 best players that'll be available for the Hawks.
Right.
23, like I don't know how this draft's going to shake out. I don't think any of these forwards I mentioned. Morez might slip, Hans might slip. Dalen Swain, another forward. He's a bad shooter, but he's kind of good at everything else. Um, not the athlete that you want to be when you're not a great shooter, though. He's a good athlete, not a great one.
Right.
Um, Defense is just okay, not elite as well. So, but he's a great downhill physical driver. Again, something the Hawks don't have. So he might be an option at 23. Uh, who else? And then last guy, maybe Koa Pete is an interesting guy. He was a 5-star. He had a good freshman year, um, but like it's the fact that he has no jump shot to speak of, and he's functionally a center, right? So he'd be 100% a project pick if you were to take him at 23. That feels a little rich, uh, but he is a good passer. Like he is a good passer, and I think there's some there's some skills you could work. I think he's somebody. If you want to take a project at 23, I wouldn't hate it, but again, I'm expecting. There's a lot of good players in this draft class. I'm fully expecting somebody who's better than Cole Pete to be there at 23. So that's kind of where I'm at.
Let me finish with this. If you look at the Hawks roster, if they do whatever type of maneuvering at the draft, whether it's move down from 8 or move up from 23, like who do you think is the most likely player on the roster now to be included?
In a trade,
Yeah, whether it's for trade up, trade down, you trying to clear somebody out, like
I
who's most likely to
mean,
be on
the
that
most
draft night
likely
trade?
the most likely guy to be traded is Corey Kispert in 23 to get off the contract.
Okay.
I don't know if they do that right now. Um, so I actually don't think they're going to do that. I think uh, I just don't think Ricochet has much value. I've kind of come around to like Ricochet doesn't have that much value. You might as well keep him. Like whatever. He's already under contract. No reason to punt. Um, you know, right? Yeah, and he's had good stretches. He was legitimately good to end the season his rookie year. So I think if they can get a point guard, either in the draft or the trade to really help him out, he's fine. But like I would not be interested in trading up and giving up assets in this draft class, just because it's so deep. Um, Basically, after 8, it's kind of the same players. Like, somebody like Ibuka Okori could be there at 23, and to me, he's just as good as a lot of these guards in this draft. So that's kind of where I'm at. Where I'm like, there's no reason to give up assets to trade up. Uh, but again, it's the most likely guy to be traded is Kispert.
All right. Well, we'll have to do this again soon. We'll get Glenn back, hopefully sometime mid-finals to talk about what's happening there and do some more draft. And I appreciate you hopping in to get this done. And we say goodnight, Bob.
Good night, Bob.
Thank you.